of people meeting people for the first time. We talked to many people who said they're here to really bond and interact and hear different people's stories. This is going on right now. You can hear someone sharing her story with the group. Let's take a listen.
He was in and out throughout my life, and so for me it was important I'm sure he was a victim of police brutality that I wasn't seeing, and to have lost my dad and watch officers take him away, I was like, this hits home for me. So yeah.
We can see here people gathering to share their stories together, people that did not know each other before this, and some very powerful stories. You just heard that woman say that she lost her father, and that's what brought her out here today. Let's take another listen.
Getting things done.
We're just trying to hear your stories, that's all. We're going to walk around. We're here seeing other groups. You see a lot of circles being formed here. This is new. This was not like this 30 minutes ago. I want you to take a look, and you can see people sitting in circles, and this is what this has become now. Just in the last half hour, you have people sharing their stories with seemingly random strangers. Many of these people do not know each other, and they just sat down. They formed groups throughout the grounds here, and everyone going around saying why they are here. We had the chance to speak with several people earlier, and one man drove from New England this morning. He said he got up at 2:30 in the morning with his friends, drove all the way from New England down here because this was very important to him. He had seen many of his friends victims of police brutality, and it meant something to him. So he got in his car, he drove here, he marched up to the Capitol, his hands with red paint, as you will see with a lot of people here, dipping their hands in that red paint and symbolizing that police brutality. And a lot of people coming together, and I asked him how long he would stay. He said as long as it takes to see change. So again, I want you to take a look. Pretty powerful stuff that we are seeing. Strangers coming together here on the grounds outside the Capitol, sharing their stories about what this means to them. Many homemade signs here as well. They started again together a few blocks up. They made the signs together. This one very powerful. You can see the names on this sign as well. It's quiet here today. It's peaceful here today. And another woman that I spoke with, Philomena, she helped organize this, and she told me that's all they want. They want a peaceful protest. They want people to see that they do want peace. They do want change. That's really what they're about. She condemned the looters. She said, she organized this today because she wants to show the world that they do want peace. She said she hated seeing people that were destroying businesses. She said she hated seeing the violence that had been taking place, and that they want to come out here every day until they see a change, and they plan to come out here every single day, and they hope that the crowd continues to grow. They hope that people continue to stay here. Earlier, they sang a lot of songs, and there were a lot of chants, and then they again encouraged the crowd to just get together, to go up to someone, shake a hand, and say, hi, nice to meet you, why are you here? And so I think we're seeing a lot of camaraderie. We're seeing a lot of people come together here. It's a very hot day, and we have also seen a lot of people giving out waters, giving out snacks, making sure that everyone here is hydrated, which is a great thing. People coming together, and we keep hearing small claps and light cheers, and that happens when someone usually shares a very powerful story. Another woman that I spoke to had lost someone. She had lost someone to violence, and I think that you hear the emotion in their voice, and you can see why people have come out here today. Excuse me, would you like to talk to us about why you came out here today?
I came out here because I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I'm a Latina, white-looking Latina. I grew up in the systematic of oppression, so I'm out here to represent all my Hispanics and my black people who are still in the system of oppression. Just let them know that change is coming, and we are here for change. Not just for All Life Matters today, it's about Black Lives Matter.
And it's been a very peaceful protest.
Yes,
for people at home,
yes.
Tell people what that means to you when you see how peaceful this
Peaceful
is.
because what we're trying to give out is unity. Unity is really, really important because what we're trying to show is not about segregation, it's not about racial, it's about coming together and showing that as unity we could all grow and move forward.
And we were speaking a little bit ago about the red paint for those at home that,
Yes.
that weren't here and see that. I see your
Yes.
hands, you have the red paint. Why? Why the red paint, and what does that mean to you?
It's significant because cops have been getting away with blood on their hands, and we're here to justify that it's not okay, and we're trying to show that everybody's lives matters and that you should feel guilty.
And we're also seeing the circles and the groups coming together and sharing stories.
Yes.
What kind of stories have you heard today that have really spoken to you? It seems like everyone is here because they have a personal connection to this.
Can you ask your question again?
What kind of stories have you heard today that really hit home with you?
All types of stories about discrimination, LGBTQ, but mainly we're here to hear about the Black Lives Matter stories. You hear these powerful stories of people who are discriminated just by being Black and not being given the same opportunity, especially with affordable housing, because education and systematic oppression is all interconnected. So yes, it's all interconnected because affordable housing, not a lot of people are moving out there for better schools, better places. So it starts off with education. Education is really important, and a lot of people who are in urban areas don't have the education, so they just hold in anger. And that's why you see a lot of looting and gangs out here. That's all that anger from the system of oppression, is all anger.
And we spoke with some organizers earlier, and they were saying that they hate to see that looting. They hate to see that violence.
Yes, we all do, because then it looks away from this right here, which is the most important part, which is unity. And unity is really important. So what we're trying to show is that's why we're out here communicating, showing diversity, showing that we're all interconnected, is all positive vibes, you know?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Peace and love.
Thanks for being out here. So just an example of someone who came out here today because she feels passionately about this, and I think that's really the common ground here, is that everyone who is here right now, they want to be here. They don't care that it's 95 degrees. They don't care that it's hot out here. They say they'll be here every single day until change comes to this area. And we're seeing, of course, families out here as well. We've seen many small children, and I think that's a really powerful message too, that you see parents bringing their children out here, and it shows that it is very peaceful. It's a very peaceful protest. I haven't heard anybody yelling or even at the police behind that line. It's just been very, very peaceful, and it's been a very nice thing to witness all of these people coming together, many people bringing friends and family with them, but many people just coming alone. I met one young man who came out here by himself because he felt the need to do something. And now he is in one of those groups, and he is hearing stories from complete strangers. And it's really, really bringing people together. And I think that's a pretty powerful thing. Let's take a little walk here. And you can see here, it may look like people are taking a break, but in reality, what we're hearing around us is just personal conversations of people sharing their stories about why they're here, why this means so much to them. And we've heard so much passion throughout the last few days, and people are angry, but that anger is not being displayed here. Instead, they're talking out those issues. And you can see here part of the group, the freedom fighters who organized this today, and I said that we spoke with some of them earlier, and they've just been amazing at leading this crowd and making sure that this stays very, very peaceful today. Let's see if we can go talk to one of them. Can we get one of you guys to chat? Would one of you want to? Yes? No? Anybody? I just want to hear what this means to you when you see all of these people here telling their stories, and some perfect strangers sitting in these groups and sharing what this means to them. What does it mean to you?
It's incredibly inspirational and inspiring that people from all different, backgrounds, religions, races, whatever, coming together for one cause and to fight this cause and to make some change.
And for people that aren't here and they can see how peaceful, describe the peacefulness of this group right now.
You can feel it in the air. Like, there's no tension. It's just we're all calm. We don't want violence. You know who brings the violence? The police. They're the ones who decide to have riot gear and tear gas for people who don't even have weapons on them. Just water bottles and paper and paint. So.
You mentioned the paint, and I see the paint here on your arms. When you put that on today, what was going through your mind?
This is the blood of all my brothers and sisters who have fallen at the hands of racism and oppression. This is their blood.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So again, a very peaceful protest here at the Capitol, and they'll stay here for several more hours and come back each day. One of the women who organized this tells me that they plan to come back every single day. She doesn't care if it's weeks or if it's months. They just want to protest peacefully. And like you said, it means a lot seeing all of these people coming together, perfect strangers, sharing their stories, and people, like she said, of all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities, all different religions. You're seeing a very mixed crowd here, and we're seeing families as well. And I think that that's a really important thing. We haven't seen too many small children in the days before now, and I've seen a lot of small children, and I think that really speaks volumes to what's going on here. And you see the signs. They encouraged people to make signs when they arrived this morning. They had cardboard, they had paint, they had all different sizes. Excuse me, can we see your sign?
Yeah.
Turn it upside down.
Oh, the rest is just red. Oh, sorry.
So you came out here today, you made this sign. Tell me what this means to you and what you're trying to tell these people here with us.
So really, I just wanted to write down all of the names of Black lives who have been taken from us and the cops haven't been held accountable. So I just wanted to write down as many as I could, but this was only about a quarter of the list that I found online. So it's just really sad, and like writing down all of the names, I just felt so sad for all of these people who we haven't had massive protests for, but still lost their lives.
And I can hear the emotion in your voice. And coming to this scene, why is it emotional for you?
It's just very emotional because it feels like I'm happy we're doing it. Like, I'm happy that it's happening. But at the same time, like, all of these people died before him, and we weren't out here protesting like this for every single one of them. So it just feels like it's taken so long. But I'm happy to see so many people here and so many people excited to fight for what's right.
And something new that today that we're seeing is these people sitting in groups, and we were talking about that, seemingly perfect strangers, right?
Yeah.
Just listening to people's stories. What's that been like for you?
It's just been really nice to see so many people willing to have conversations about topics that aren't easy to talk about and kind of admit ignorance and admit that they don't know everything about it, but willing to learn. And so that's really nice to see.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being out here today. Thank you. So you could see that meant something to her, and she said she wanted to fill up that poster board with as many names as she could, but she said it's only a quarter of the names, and that just shows you the injustice that's been going on. It looks like now we are getting some movement, some people, marching again. We are not sure if they are going to stay here in this location, but we are seeing some movement from the organizers, so we will see where they are headed next. But still people here on the grounds praying, holding hands, sharing their stories. We've seen many tears. This is very emotional. People have some very emotional stories. And again, it's amazing to see this scene of perfect strangers coming together here today for a very peaceful protest here outside the Capitol, on the east side of the Capitol. Kind of taking it all in. And it's probably the most quiet that it's been, which is an amazing thing to see as well. We're seeing people, strangers, sharing each other's information. Excuse me, are you guys meeting for the first time?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was saying, what are you writing?
We're preparing in case we are arrested, to have numbers for bailout, and that people can get in touch with people for legal aid in case we need it.
And you're saying you're preparing for that, and it's kind of crazy to hear you say that because we're here now, and this is so peaceful, right?
It's very peaceful, but things can change at any point and any time, and we want to make sure we're ready. That's what we're here for, to dedicate our bodies, ourselves for this cause, so people can see what happens to even peaceful protesters.
And you've been here, I assume, all morning, and you marched here, and you've been here, and hearing some of the stories and seeing some of the scenes. What's really hit home with you?
What's really hit home with me is I have a cousin who was killed by the police, and we'll never know his name, right? I think you talked to my friend earlier who wrote a bunch of names down there, but this has been something that's been ongoing for a very long time. And I think it's great that we get media attention, and when it happens and it's televised, it's great, but there's so many instances that go untelevised, and we want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So I don't want us to forget. And I want to make sure that all those names that we don't even know are represented here today.
You said your cousin was killed by police.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. What is his name? You said you didn't get to, no one would know his name, but we want to know his
I'm
name.
not sure if I'll share his name
Okay,
just yet, just
okay.
because we had to go through a lot of legal things with the police as well, but yeah.
So this
just
is really
happens.
hitting home for you. You're seeing this, and you're here to make a change and make a difference.
Yes, I'm considered a very privileged African American. I've been to the best schools. I've had a really great family that's intact, and I still have this impact my life every day. And this is what privilege looks like for a black person, is still dealing with this. I had a young cousin who was sent to the ICU by the police as well as a teenager. We didn't even know where he was all night, again, unarmed. So it does hit home. It's very personal, and it happens to all of us. There's not a single one of us that it's not impacting in some way. No matter, like, money can't help us escape. Education can't help us escape it. This happens just because of being black in America.
Wow. Well, I'm very sorry for your cousin, and thank you for being out here and being part of this peaceful protest.
Absolutely. Thank you for covering it.
So you're seeing just everyone has a story. That one, a pretty powerful one. As you can see, she's out here because her one cousin was beaten by police, sent to the ICU. Her other cousin lost his life at the hands of police. So we're hearing a lot of stories like that today, and everyone has a reason for being here, and they're sharing all of these stories. And I want you to look at this group here. People of all different ethnicities, strangers coming together, and it's been very peaceful. We did see a police officer kneeling when asked to kneel earlier, and that was a pretty powerful moment. The crowd cheering very loudly for that. That was a few hours ago when they were all at the barricade right here, and they were chanting, "Take a knee," and a female police officer did. She took a knee for probably a solid 30 seconds and nodded at the crowd, acknowledging that she understands what they are here for as well. You can see still the red paint here. People we've talked to, you've seen the red paint on their hands, on their arms. It means something to them. The red paint's still here, with paintbrushes still here, as anyone is welcome to come and use that today. And they're encouraging everyone to do that, but then feel something when you do that as well, and know what that red paint represents. And for them, as we just heard, it represents the police brutality that's been going on for decades, and especially against African Americans here in this city. And people want change. They need change, and they're demanding change. And that's why they're here at the Capitol today on a beautiful Wednesday, a beautiful warm Wednesday, but a beautiful day, and having peaceful protests. We don't know how long they'll be out here. They did put an end time to about 3:30 on this, but they tell me they'll be out here into the night if needed. So again, music's starting to pick back up, and water being shared amongst people. And we will be out here for the rest of the day as well, here at this peaceful protest at the Capitol, organized by the Freedom Fighters. And we're hoping it stays peaceful as well. Okay, let's go back into that package.
Whew. All right, turn my TV off. Please.
Yes. Do I hold it in?
You push the red button.
I am.
And slide it.
I push it and
Slide across the screen.
I can't. You might have to take it off. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's a technique to it.